This is the VFX Nexus 2.1 Overview Screencast. VFX Nexus has been in constant development since its launch in 2009. And since the last screencast, a lot has happened. We've added requests from our users and refined usage and details of the program throughout. We took a look at security, permissions, teams, task assignments, and streamlined the use of each. We've added support for file sharing worldwide, and the whole system has been now focused around projects and teams. Along with teams, there's now an added layer of security so that groups can be limited only to the projects they need to access. Let's dive in and take a quick look at how VFX Nexus 2.1 operates. We're logged in as an administrator of this VFX Nexus instance. VFX Nexus is designed to collaborate among multiple users, and here is where you would add an account for each one. In addition to creating these new users and setting their details, we can create account types. Typical account types are things like supervisors. Each account type will have a different level of access to VFX Nexus, which we will define in this permissions area. We streamlined this feature to a few main areas of control. In this grid, we can determine what area a user can view, change, or delete within a VFX Nexus instance. Teams are added here in the Teams tab. Typical uses for teams may range by departments within your organization to creating a distinction between on-site workers and off-site freelancers. VFX Nexus uses projects to define any division of work that you need to. You can create a project to define each episode of a television show, an entire movie, or sections of movies assigned to different supervisors, or even separate vendors. Within a project, we enter all the shots required to finish the project, and assign users and tasks to each of them. Here's a typical example of creating a new shot. We have the ability to get quickly started with a new project by adding bulk shots all at one time and in one page. We can upload thumbnail images for all of these shots in one zip file. And with the optional use of team access, we can define what teams have access to this project and at what level. As the project evolves, we can search for shots by the criteria we specify. We can now create a search. Perhaps your I/O department needs to know what is ready to output to tape. These are the shots that are ready for output. Searches will often be the go-to spot for day-to-day work. Easily find things like how many shots still need to get started, how many need to be reviewed, and how many shots are within 5 days of a deadline and not final, and by which artist. Reports can be created for printing or emailing. You can create reports that list shots by users, by their status, or even create a storyboard report for posting in public view or for reference during a meeting. Of course, your projects will only get completed through the work of artists. We've tried to make it as easy as possible for artists to dive into VFX Nexus. We find that most artists come to depend on VFX Nexus as the hub of their workflow. We keep the level of responsibility relatively low in most circumstances. A little interaction from artists creates the sum of information you need to keep your pipeline running. Once logged in, artists have access to a list of all the projects, shots, and tasks they are assigned to. VFX Nexus removes the shots and tasks from these lists as they are completed, giving an artist an instant feel for the work ahead, as well as a visual motivator for getting work completed. When an artist enters into the shot details, they can register that they are beginning to work, they can check their notes and messages, they can view references. Files, links, and embed tags can also be added to shots for reference and for sharing. And they can also find any critical shot information. Once the work reaches a point where review is possible, they can reflect this in the status of the shot. VFX Nexus has many other features such as a calendar, a knowledge base, plus it also has the ability to control any of the terminology you see in regards to shot status, shot versions, the task status. It even has a message of the day feature. VFX Nexus is the best way to focus your visual effects pipeline. It's accessible from anywhere there's a connection to the internet. It keeps everyone informed at all times, eliminating the need to constantly interview artists for updates to the status of their work. It's easy to get a feel for the progress of a show, as well as give hard numbers to producers, bonding companies, and the all-important financiers. And best of all, it avoids the need to create a custom database or resort to spreadsheets or other tools that don't have the VFX pipeline in mind. VFX Nexus is a monthly subscription service that requires no maintenance from you or your IT department. You get all feature updates added as they become available, and backups are kept for you. See VFXnexus.com/pricing for details. And also visit our site for future screencasts and more, including customizations of VFX Nexus, determining permissions, configuring team access, and workflow procedures and practices.